Hey,
Yeah, right, mate.
we did it.
Yes. Oh wow, you look nice. I like your hat. Friend.
I like your jacket and
It's got a wolf on it. It's my nan's.
the the wolf is cool. Is that white wine or red wine?
It's white wine.
Nice. See,
Love.
here's the thing about these. So I've talked to a few people in
Mhm.
different places. Like I talked to some folks on the East Coast and they were already drinking yesterday, but I'm the lazy West Coast, so it's only noon. I guess I could have a beer, but it seems inappropriate.
You like kombucha though, don't you? You can have
I
like
do.
35.
Honestly, I had so much coffee this morning. I feel a little tweaked. So just run with it. Dude, it's so good. It's so good to see
It's,
you,
it's
man.
so good to see you too, man. It really
Yeah.
is.
And so, like, just to give a brief recap, we did some tours together. Actually, in the UK first, where you guys are massive, you opened up for us before you took off, and I remember thinking at that time, okay, this kid sings so good. It's just a matter of time before either his band blows up or he ditches his band and has a solo career and is on like television singing well. You know what I mean? So congratulations for all the success. And
Thanks.
then of course we did another tour here in the States, the tail end of the Here Come the Runts tour for us. And you guys were nice enough to come with us and we had some good time. We talked a lot of fashion, talked
We talked a lot of
love,
stuff.
love and
It's good.
everything in between. We did.
Yeah.
We had.
Aaron's been a bit of a guru for me. It's been
Yeah.
amazing.
we
Life guru.
we had like really cool. You sang "Where's My Mind" by the Pixies with us here in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
you did the high like oohs or whatever. And I
Oh
remember
yeah.
in my ears, I'm like, oh God, this kid sings so good. Wow. So right on. And I heard your cover you did of "Somewhere Over the Rainbow."
Oh yeah.
It was really nice, dude. And it that humbled me as well. I'm like, God damn it, this guy sings good. So right on.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. We see
The dog,
so
the dog is there.
amongst all the fear and negativity out there, we all know that, but one positive um fact really that keeps happening is that we're connecting with each other. So I probably wouldn't be talking to you face to face like this with a glass of white wine on a whatever day
No,
this is, on a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh
We'd be
God.
doing some other shit like getting ready to play shows or whatever. And
I, I was thinking about that so much. Like you said about connectivity. It's like I was really looking forward to like seeing your face today. Do you know what I mean? How funny is that? But it's
yeah,
true.
totally. So I wore this hat. This is my summer hat. It's feeling like summer.
Oh, it's amazing. I love.
You can kind of do what you want with it. So you can
Oh,
mold it, throw it on. I mean, if I'm not careful though, it looks like a bad like cowboy hat. So I got to kind of keep it.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Well,
glad you grew the beard back. You look looks good.
thanks.
Hey,
So we'll jump right into some, like, I like to address some serious stuff out of the gates. I guess it's all sort of serious, but obviously we're all in this together. We've never experienced anything like this. Where over here in California, talking to you all the way in the UK, we're dealing with the same situation, the unknown, panic, fear, disappointment is huge. Disappointment. I had to cancel my tour.
yeah.
And that's fine. We'll survive. We'll play another show one day, and everything in between. So I was wondering if you could share with your fans and our collective family here, sort of, if you have any advice, and not to put you on the spot in this heavy way, but or tools that you've developed along the way of your career, of the ups and downs that are helping you deal with this fear right now.
That's right now. Okay, that's really interesting. Good question. Um, I mean, me personally. So when it first happened, when we first had the lockdown, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago,
Uh,
I was I was completely numb,
yeah.
and I was like, and also like on that top of that, I just moved into my own place by myself. So I was just getting a routine.
Oh
I was
man,
just getting things, I was
bad
just getting my
timing.
life together. Yeah, but and then then this happened, and I was like, oh wow, like my whole head just went. I'm like, what do I
Yeah.
do? And I was in such a creative flow before, just non-stop writing since December. And then, yeah, I had about a week and a half where I felt like I couldn't do anything.
Uh-huh.
And then, I just, it was like acceptance. And I think my best lesson to teach anyone with anything in life is that you can't control things that you can't control. It's like the less you do, the better. As in, like, if you struggle with anything in life, and this is something that we can't do anything about right now. If you struggle with it, then it's going to become more of a struggle. So there's a beauty in doing nothing. And I think I've tried to spend my time slowing down and really trying to find some peace. But this is almost, it's holistic for me, weirdly, on a personal level, where it's like, this has been a good environment for me to kind of practice that with other walks of life, that I've come across that I need to work on. And just, yeah, just really like acceptance is the biggest thing. And I think, and that over the years of my career and things that have happened and struggles I've been through, I feel like I'm trying to shake everything all the time, trying to control whatever I was dealing with, but you just can't sometimes. And I feel like the less you do sometimes, the better. So that's, in short, that's what I'm trying to say in terms of that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. These answers are hard for sure. And the questions are difficult as well. It's just been really interesting to ask other artists and other, different friends that I've talked to on this thing, like where they're at and how they're dealing with it. And everybody sort of has a different answer.
Yeah.
They're all equally helpful. I talked to K-Flay yesterday, and she had this really interesting thought where she was thinking, well, in a nutshell, she was basically saying that the small accomplishments shouldn't be overlooked, like getting out of bed or like taking a shower or whatever, or getting to this conversation we're having.
That's the thing. I think the less if I've gone in a funk and I just go, it's okay, just have a sit down or read a book, then I'll just feel creative again. And then when those kind of first 2 weeks stopped, the creative flow has been unreal, because I feel like something about the ambiguity and the fog now has made me want to write more and more and more. And the kind of that heavy feeling, it's like there's like a tension in the air. It just makes it more creative. But I was saying, in those first 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God, I don't feel anything. But now I'm trying to use it, But it's also like was it K-Flay you said?
Yeah.
I think that is so important. It's like you can still find creativity and find meaningfulness in doing little, and something might occur, where you find something funny to say to a friend that you didn't think of a minute ago, or you have an idea to write down, so there is beauty in that.
Yeah, definitely. I found that some songs too, and my fans know this because I've repeated this multiple times, but certain songs, as you were saying, there's a certain weight in the air with music, right? Or like writing, or you sing certain songs and they feel way heavier than ever before. I don't mean heavy like rock, in that way. I mean heavy, the weight of emotions feel very important. Similar to when you're going through any sort of relationship adjustment, change, heartbreak, all those things that sort of like, scar us, and then we come back with thicker skin as life goes on. These things, they all go back into music, and you and I are so lucky that we make music and that we love music, and everybody that's involved in this conversation or writing comments or viewing this, it's this big music family. And it seems like the whole community of music right now kind of feels together, and I'm blown away by how many people have been open to talking to me about this stuff, because I've asked some people and I thought, like, this, they're going to say no, obviously, but almost everybody has said yes. Whether I'm going to talk to Linda Perry tomorrow, I talked to Duff from Guns N' Roses, and now you, and it's just been really cool, and to connect. So there is something positive happening. Families are tighter than ever. I don't know your family situation exactly, but I know I've been talking to family members almost daily, and that wasn't happening before, because we get lazy. It's easy to just go on Instagram and double click something to show love. And I think it's more important now to actually call and share your voice, especially with someone as such a nice voice as yours. I love your talking voice too. That's the crazy thing. What a great talking voice. And I'm seeing the comments, people agree with me.
I do think that it's teaching us to value what's important in life. And I know everyone's bored
Yeah,
and all that sort of stuff. And I get that. Obviously have that kind of Groundhog Day feeling too.
I don't know what day
But
it is. I only know that what day it is
I
because
was drinking on Tuesday. I was like, oh, I
yeah,
was like, talk. But no, yeah, I feel like it's just teaches you what I can't have right now.
hmm
The biggest thing of that is being connected to my family and my friends. Like they've been so important to me always anyway because of my job. I always kept a strong family and friendship around just because it's just mental what we do obviously. But now I can't see them, and I'm here and stuff and adjusting to isolation by myself and stuff. It's like it's really showed me how necessary and how important they are. And not that I didn't think that before, but I think
sure.
more people now will value that, and reach out to that for sure. I think
Yeah.
so.
Were you able to fully, settle into your house before this happened? As far as like, putting some art up, as I could see in the back, or doing things like that. Like, were you able to do all that before this all happened?
Yeah. So I had like I moved in December and I had 2 or 3 months to kind of get adjusted, and I just started getting my groove back and seeing friends and all this sort of stuff. And then that's what's been weird, isn't it? Like your patterns change, and my pattern changed drastically. Like, and obviously, with friends, like I went through a breakup, so it was just like readjusting and that sort of stuff. And I get into a good position, and then isolation happens, and then it's
Yeah.
another test. Dom in my band actually was a mate because obviously he's one of my best friends, and like going through all that stuff, we spoke a lot, and he was like, in a way, that isolation is such a good experiment for you now to really hone in on yourself and
Mhm.
be creative and just adjust to who you are truly as a person. And I think people are really doing that. Some of my best mates are quite the way I describe them is that they keep themselves so busy, they distract themselves from their real thoughts and their real issues in life, and that they know that they openly know that. So when they first went to isolation, it was like a shock for them, I think.
Yeah.
But now, I think now they have no choice but to not see anyone. It kind of sheds away everything that they're having to deal with. Well, not sheds it away, at least brings it up to the forefront. It's really spending time alone. It's really important. I know you've got your wife and your dogs actually.
I do, yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point. So it's almost like people who stay busy, to sort of block out the noise in their head. Their head's probably pretty loud right now, and so yeah, that now's a good time to reach out to those kind of people too to help them through this time. You know.
Totally, really. I've really noticed it. Like obviously you have your Zoom calls and stuff with your mates and stuff. It's just so important just having those kind of like, even if it's like an hour or 45 minutes or something, just really connecting and really appreciating each other's friendships and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to switch over to like, I guess, first of all, I just want to address that's incredible that you said that. I mean, what the time, life is funny. The timing of life is it's like a practical joke sometimes. Where you're like, oh wow, I went through that whole fire after our tour. Fire burned down my studio, got everything up and running, made a new record, and then this whole thing happens, right? And like, so you never, and in some ways that fire and dealing with all that stuff helped me to be possibly a little bit more prepared and have certain tools to deal with what's going on now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you've experienced anything similarly. You mentioned that you've gone through a breakup, and those are really hard things to go through. Obviously, anyone knows it's been through a heavy breakup. I've been through multiple heavy breakups.
Yeah, you've been amazing to me through that. So I want to
Thanks.
publicly thank you.
I'm the new Oprah, man. So like, do you feel like going through that, and I'm sure it's still, each day is different, but do you feel like going through that in some ways helped you to be able to take on this whole world event in some ways?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed. It's changed my life in a lot of ways. It's let me stand on my own 2 feet. I mean, even before my ex-partner, it was like I just was so kind of shattered pieces, and I didn't really, from family stuff or whatnot, and I didn't really know how to piece myself together. So this has been a really amazing adjustment for me to be able to like, yeah, be my own person, be my own man, and just yeah, just look at all the things that you don't like and the things you want to alter, and really stand on your own 2 feet, you know. And it's been tricky, but like needed to happen for like my next 2.0 version of my life in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm glad. Like yeah, it has helped me with the isolation, and like now I love my own company. Like I like being here by myself. It's great.
Yeah. That's a hard thing. Congratulations on getting to that point. That's a really difficult thing to do, you know. I think because of tour and both our careers and how that is, over time I've really fell in love with being alone. You know, because it's pretty rare. You know, when you're on tour, you're just like wherever you wake up, your buddy's right. You love your buddy, but he's right there, and you're like, fuck,
Yeah,
see him, or
yeah,
you haven't had coffee yet, and you know someone's in your face, whatever it is, or you have to find a bathroom that works. You know, all those things, and not to complain because we're really lucky, obviously, but
do you have a shower system that you rate the showers that you like say, oh yeah,
yeah,
five
the
today?
shower system, it's just kind of like a free for all. Whoever's up first, and there's always that bastard that gets up first intentionally, and you're like, fuck this guy, you know, and you go into the dressing room or whatever, and it's their music, their vibe, their smells, whatever, you know what I mean, and you're like, but anyways,
Yeah,
as a result of that, I've found, you know, it's like the same thing with team sports in a lot of ways. I think, you know, you become accustomed to being around so many different men, you know, and that's not my favorite thing, to just be around a lot of guys, honestly,
exactly.
you know,
Like,
and so that's why, like, when my wife's on tour or one of the guys' wives or girlfriends or like the dogs, it lightens the mood, and everybody's much more everybody's nicer to each other. It's the funniest thing. Just bring some of that light, goodness, and
I agree. I feel like there's, uh, well, maybe there even was at the start of our band, but in a lot of bands, there's a lot of male testosterone and ego,
Mhm.
and I think you have to break it down. And we've like over the years of any struggles we've had as a band or anything, yeah, anything I've been through or whatnot, really, we kind of gelled from that, and you lower all of those egos, and everyone starts really being there for each other and acting like a mum and a dad for each other. It's like it became a really beautiful environment with nothing but thieves. Um, but yeah, for sure. Like if you don't have that, and if it's all just testosterone and like you can't talk to each other about anything, then there's a real issue. I think one of the best things about our band and crew is that even yeah, from the crew and the tour managers, everything, it's like we're one big family, and we can all really talk to each other, and we need each other all the time on tour, you know, and off tour. Obviously, we're all friends, so it's really helpful, I think.
Yeah, that's really good. We definitely have to have our little therapy sessions sometimes where it's like, hey, when you said that thing yesterday, what did you mean by that, or whatever, you know, or hey, I didn't. We're really communicative, and
It's great.
some more than others, you know, like my drummer and I both have really, like, I would say, um pretty strong personalities, you know, and so sometimes I think because of that, and that's why I love him as a drummer. He's real fiery, and I'm that way too, like on stage and with songwriting. Um, so we're both, if I may say, there's no way he's watching this right now, but um, I would say that we're really good at communicating. If we ever feel like something maybe slightly rubbed the other one wrong, we address it, you know, and maybe too much sometimes.
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to. Yeah.
sometimes I'll be like, hey man, I just want to get this off my chest. What I said, I didn't mean. I'm like, oh, that was no thing at all. And then sometimes you don't even know when something you accidentally did. It's, you know, you have to communicate. That's the bottom line, especially in any relationship. Um,
Yeah, totally.
and also sometimes I learn with, you know, like every once in a while, I don't have to always share how I feel, because maybe it's a feeling that'll pass and won't matter to me in 2 hours. I'm the kind of person that reacts quickly and is probably overly emotional at times, and get angry or sad or whatever. And then if I just chill this is one tool I've learned in as I'm getting older. If I just chill on this and let it marinate for 2 or 4 hours, I'm usually half as upset as I was, and that's a good starting point for me.
Unless you lose at table tennis to a younger band member that you're on tour with.
Yeah, that was weird because I basically am unbeatable, but that day you threw me off with, it was weird. I think you cheated a bunch and stuff, but I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, okay, let's play. I'm gonna smoke this guy, and you beat me.
I might just come to California and play table tennis.
Hey, who knows where this world is headed? Maybe we're gonna have to just play like this on the thing,
It's interesting what you were saying. I've kind of lost my track of thought, but I had a point to say about back to the isolation thing. What were you saying just before? Because I had a point. I just don't want to forget it.
I don't know. I have notes. I write down notes as I go. Oh, I don't know. Well, I was talking about communicating with band members. I don't know.
If it comes.
Yeah, totally. I wanted to ask you about some of the moments throughout your career that felt overwhelming or terrifying, and everything in between. As you navigated going from a band that was fairly unknown, just like any band that starts, to playing massive shows and having key slots at massive festivals, especially in Europe. And I'm never there in Europe when this is happening, but I follow you guys on Instagram and I see all that. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, did you ever have a moment that felt like, whoa, this is way bigger than I had ever imagined it'd be?
Yeah, like it would probably be the first time we played with Muse. It was like Rock and Rome, I think the name of it was. It was a long time ago. 2000, yeah, 14, 15. And I think it was one of their, obviously they got ridiculous crowds, but it was one of their biggest crowds. So we were first time in anything above 20,000, and it was the first time with them. And this was about, I don't know, 120,000 or something. It was unbelievable. It was ridiculously daunting, but amazing. But I think part of that fed so much adrenaline that it was just one of the best shows I've ever played. But that was a real kind of page turning moment for us, where we were like, okay, we're on to this next chapter now. That's what we want to get to. And I guess going on tour with them and the arena tour, it really got a taste for it. It's like, something that we really want to aspire to and get to that next level. And they're a bit well-oiled machine, and how, it's ridiculously the budget and the production and stuff. So it's quite inspiring to see that and see how you get to that. But yeah, I'd say those were big moments for that. I don't know, I can't think of anything else, like anything too fearful. It's been good. It's been a general steady rise, I would say any TV we did in America was just mind-blowing, because it's just bizarre, isn't it?
Is that something that growing up over there seems like to carry a certain kind of different weight, maybe like being on American television or something like that? Like that's how I imagine being on Jules Holland would be like for me, or whatever. Yeah. We never got invited, so if you see him, tell him to invite me, and we'll kill it, But
it's all good.
You know what I'm saying? Like I hold up the UK in a certain regard. Starts with the Beatles and ends with the Beatles for me. In that way, and all these cool bands that came. And yeah, I guess I wonder what it's like as you look to American music and rock and roll and TV, and what's important. What seems like these big milestones or huge mountains to climb here in America in that way.
Well, it was unreal. Like the first one we did, I think was Conan. I think it was, and that was just unbelievable. And he, as part of the experience of that, which was so good, is that he is just such a genuinely nice guy.
He was so. You got to be on your toes. You can't roll in and try to give him a joke, because he's gonna smash you.
Yeah. But he's a larger than life character, so that for our first time, it's like, wow, we've got this opportunity. And yeah, so that was I do think it is really like seen in bright lights for UK people, like getting on someone like Conan or Kimmel or all the other ones there are. But yeah, definitely that's still an experience that I want to do more of. Like, it's still crazy exciting, I think, to do American TV. What's it like for you? Does it like done it before.
No, no, it's a big deal. I mean, I would say that those moments are more. I think they're more. Those are those moments that that everybody grew up maybe tuning in, right? The people you grew up with or your parents. It means a lot to my parents, I think, and their friends.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not.
yeah, that's
I don't know if like playing one of those shows, how much it moves the meter as far as your reach in that moment. It's exciting. It's nice. Like we have this saying where we say it looks nice on the flyer. Remember when you're in younger bands and you like, I just want to be on that. If I'm on that flyer with these other cool bands I like, then I've made it. It's sort of, it feels like that to me.
that's okay.
We've
Yeah.
never done SNL or anything like. I'd probably be terrified to do that. But the
Oh,
guys
yeah.
in the band are so good that I know like the worst I can be isn't so bad unless I literally shit my pants on stage. That because they're so good, they could carry the weight. In a lot of ways.
That's true.
And luckily, the songs we've ended up doing that have been the songs we're most known for aren't incredibly difficult for me to sing.
That's great.
There's some songs where I put on record. I don't know if you're the same way, but like we'll record a song, I'll put it on the record, and I barely got by singing it in the studio because it's the very top of my range, and it was like my voice was breaking up and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was thinking like, man, if this song is like has a lot of pressure and demand, it's going to be really, really hard to sing this on a TV show. And luckily, it's been the ones that are kind of in my zone that are easy.
Yeah, yeah. No, same with Amsterdam. I was like, went to record. I'm going to put every single fiber of me I have in, and I listened to it back. And I was like, oh crap! If this takes off, I've got to do this every night.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
But then you also, what's harder in the studio is it's the discovery phase. It's the honeymoon phase, much like a relationship. When you're in a new relationship and you're so in love, or you're so excited that you're almost scared because you're terrified to lose that person or whatever. And then the dust settles and you become a little more comfortable and you can be yourself more around this person. I feel like it's the same thing with songs in a way.
Yeah. I try not to listen back too much. You get that? You must record something you like, because obviously you're going to be a fan of whatever you write because it's you. It's like I try not to do that where I like overexhaust what I listen to too much to what I write, because I know that I'll just kind of get bored. It's like you have to just leave it in its little magical moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You do your best. You've put your best foot forward vocally, lyrically. Because I trust that you're the same way, where you really care, obviously, and then you leave it. You leave it there and let other people listen to it and let it become theirs. Like these songs. So this record just came out last week, and
I love that Pacific Coast song. That's absolutely banging.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a cool thing for me, just because I love Rivers from Weezer so much. So I was like, all right, I'm in Weezer for a day or whatever, And
much in.
We need to, and we will do something together one day. I can't.
For sure.
We will. But what I was gonna say is, once a song is out, that's become everybody else's now. It's no longer mine. These songs hopefully have a life that is much more important than just me as a singular person. And I don't know if you're the same way, but I will not be listening to any of these songs on record anytime soon. What kind of weird ego would that be to just like enjoy, like listen to your own shit? That seems crazy. I know some guys who do. Some bands, we both toured it with certain singers. I've caught them just listening to their music over and over. It's one thing to try to learn what could be better about a mix, but once it's done, listening to it seems.
I agree. Do you know what's interesting though? You must have had this where you've been on tour with an album for a certain amount of time that they become their own life on stage. Have you ever listened back to something and gone, whoa, what am I doing on stage, or what am I doing live? It's so different. Oh, in a good way though. Like I like that. Like because then sometimes if I have listened back, I'm going, well, actually I did like that from what I did from there. I might bring it back. So that is good. But you're right. Like once you've got the mixes and you've like pounded it in your ears for 3 months, 4 months, before anyone else has got it, you just don't touch it again. But I don't listen to the last year.
No, I mean it's scary because it's out there now. It's permanent. It's a little time capsule of that song, and then hopefully it takes a new life. We've become pretty brutal with our assessment of ourselves. So we have such a low we feel really confident and feel like it's us against the world and all those things, you know, on stage. But my assumption when I hear it, because how funny is it now too that you could play a show, give it like, I don't know, 3-4 hours and just go on YouTube and see what you just did. It's awesome, kind of, because you could see how much you sucked or how great it was. And so we'll watch it together. It's usually Isaac, me, and Zach, our guitar player, and we'll watch back and go like, wow, that's actually pretty good. You know, I didn't expect
I like
that.
those moments because I mean, I know you are too. You're very self-critical, but I'm so self-critical about any
Oh,
live
yeah.
performance
Yeah.
out of any of them. So it's like, even if the band is like, oh, that's banging, you've done a great job there, I'll be like, man, I don't want to listen to that. I just
No.
can't, it has to be really special for me to be like, yeah, that's great, you know. And I think there's only one live performance I've ever really truly been like, yeah, that's amazing. It was on Triple J in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
but it was because we just got off a flight of whatever hours it is, 20 hours for us, and landed and had to go straight to the radio station, and it was like 3 in the morning in the UK.
Oh man.
We started doing this live
Right.
session, so about half 4, and I'm like, and I got all my like comfy clothes on and a hat, and I had this mullet and everything. I looked like crap. It was great,
But kind of
and
dope, yeah. Probably look cool,
yeah,
you know.
you know.
Yeah.
um, but I think it was so good because we were so nonchalant about it. It's not like we didn't care, but we were like, all right, let's do
Surviving,
this.
survival mode.
We were like, let's do this and go to bed or go to the beach, whatever we were doing. I think we went to bed. But it was so good because none of us were thinking.
Yeah.
So I watched it back. I do watch that one back because it's not our song as well as a cover. So I don't feel too vain to do it back.
Yeah, it's easier to watch a cover song because it's not your song, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't feel like. So yeah.
I like the bar is so low when I watch because like not all of my bands always sounded good, you know, and these guys sound so good at like
Same.
if you just mute my vocals, it's gonna be great. And the smallest mess up can be really acknowledged. And like take Zach for example, he's such a good guitar player. I'm very comfortable pushing him actually and saying like, man, you could do better there. But what he's
He's
doing
not.
is already absolutely insane. But he's so good that I think that he's earned the right to be pushed, if that makes sense. So I could tell,
Yeah, yeah.
or Isaac, I'm like, that's really cool what you're doing, but what about this? You know, and he's like, wow, that's insane. I don't know if I could do that. I'm like, yes, you can. You can do that. Try it. And
You know,
he's
I
like,
think that's great. I think it's a really good attribute. I don't know if I have that myself, but I'm cool Dom out here in my band, credit wise. There's a couple times where he's like, not that I'm not weirdly, I'm not an overly confident person. Like, I'm confident with what I've got, and like, you know, I'm proud of myself. But it's like I'm not. I would happily take criticism and stuff. And Dom's always like, oh yeah, you know, gives me little things. He's like, oh, that, you know, that could be cool there, or you should have or like that was a bit off there. If he goes, he's just honest. He's like, well, that was a bit out of tune there, and I'll be like, oh yeah, actually it was. And then it almost strives me to do better. And he's done it with like certain songwriting things, and he's
yeah,
been like, I just think the melodies they just could be better. And I remember it was just
yeah,
like a year and a half ago, and I was like, fuck you. I was
yeah,
like, oh.
yeah,
But then you go back and you just go, you know what? Yeah, you know it can be, and you just hone in on it, and you like kick yourself to make it better, you know. And I like that. I like if people are honest and can just call each other out, because otherwise we don't grow. And
yeah,
that's with anything aside from music and all that sort of stuff. It's like, again, it comes down to communication. It's like, if someone can't communicate with me, I think I was especially stubborn when I was younger, or just pig-headed, or just like I just didn't clock other people sometimes. It's like, if it gets communicated with me, I'm the first person to go, oh, crap. Yeah, like, yeah, sorry. You know what I mean? It's like, I think you grow when people chisel at you, or you chisel at yourself. And it doesn't mean that you lessen or you weaken. It's like tearing a muscle. You rebuild upon it. I think it's really important. Really important.
that's the same thing with going through heartbreak. When you go
Yeah.
through heartbreak, it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing. And I think the whole world is going through that their own form of heartbreak right now. But
Oh,
once you
yeah.
get on the other side of it, you'll be more prepared for the next heartbreak if it's smaller, bigger. Pass down the information to our kids, their kids, and I know both of us don't have kids unless you have one since the last I talked to you. But you know, and we'll be able to say, hey, check out this part of history we went through, and this is how I navigated, and this is how your mom did, or whatever, and that's exciting. You know, I mean, as scary as everything is, that's an exciting aspect of it. Or how many, I mean, how many young bands, kids that are 17, 18 are writing songs right now, and they're pissed off or they're scared or whatever, and what kind of songs who's gonna be the next Nothing But Thieves or whatever, like in 5 years. And that's exciting to me too.
Yeah. Do you find, are you I haven't actually spoke to you about this, because I guess last time I saw you I wasn't really as into it, but I feel like I'm really trying to find a more spiritual way of living. I've tried to dig into it way more in the past sort of 6 months of my life, and especially in my isolation, it's like I've really weirdly enjoyed the days, because I've been trying. I'm not obviously not a Zen master, but like trying to be so present in every moment I have and trying to enjoy. Like, right, even this conversation right now, I've kind of forgotten what I've done the rest of the day, and it's like just try to enjoy each moment as present as possible. And even the moments where, if I'm upset, or if I'm like feeling a bit like, oh, I don't feel motivated, it's just being present in them, rather than thinking about, oh, but well, I've got this session to do next week, or I've got to record, I've got to do some vocals here, I've got to write this track. It's like I'm just trying to live each moment totally presently. And then any friend that spoke to me over this time and said like, oh, they're bored or they're struggling with stuff, or I'm not like pushing it, but I just say like, if you can just try and not overly think about what happened last week and what's happening next week, and just try and live each minute. I get it that obviously everyone has stresses, and money stresses is such a huge thing, and I get that. And it's not saying you have to live every single minute present. It's just acknowledging that there is a present tense, and it's just keep going back to it. I think a lot of people would debunk what I'm trying to say by being like, well, there is real life issues. It's like, of course, it's not like you just go, no, that exists. It's just remembering that to alleviate stress and to find peace and joy, it's remembering to come back to the moment as much as you can.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was incredible what you said. I think to acknowledge that now does exist. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say that, so I'm going to use that in all these conversations, because I have a really hard time when I know that, for example, I'm going to leave. Let's say if we weren't in the current times, like I would probably be, mentally kind of preparing myself for tour, or leaving home. And that can be hard on me. I love touring, love playing, love connecting with our fans, all those things, playing with the guys. But part of my heart breaks every time I have to leave my wife and my dogs and my family and surfing and the stuff that makes me, that huge part of my personality, because I'm not just a singer on stage. And
love that. Yeah,
it's really hard. It's really hard for me to do that, and I struggle all the time when I know I have to go. Like flying to Europe is I'm terrified of it. Right, every time we go over there, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be jet lagged for a week. I'm gonna be homesick. All these things, and I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining, but these are real feelings I do have. And so, let's say I had to leave in 2 days from now, I'd probably be kind of depressed because I have to leave in 2 days, but that's bullshit, because I should appreciate these last 2 days now.
That's it.
That's great advice, I think, from you.
Yeah, it's not. I said, well, it's still from one philosopher, this Eckhart Tolle guy. I can't write him enough. Power of Now. Yeah, and the New Earth, obviously. Like I think you'd be into, but it's funny because the whole book weirdly is like it's like the same message on each page for 200 pages, whatever it is, 300 pages. But it's like put in different contexts. It's almost it's just the constant reminder that you don't actually have to think about all of your crap all the time that's happened the last 3 years, or what's going to happen in the next 5 years. It's acknowledging that they're there, but also just trying to keep going back to that present. And I think I like trying to think of things as traffic, as like your thoughts are traffic. And so like you just go, yeah, all right, yeah, cool, see you later, cheers, thanks for that. But you don't actually grab them, you don't do anything with them, you just go, cool, that's annoying. Bye.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
isn't that funny sometimes in traffic where you're driving and you roll up on someone and you kind of you have this like weird 3-second relationship with them, and you look and you make eye contact and you judge them usually, or they're judging you or whatever, and it's this incredible, or like flying on an airplane where you have a 2-hour flight and you become best friends with this person next to you.
I love that. I
I love that, and
absolutely
then you exchange numbers maybe, and you never reach out to them. you know, it happens to me all
yeah.
the time.
You see that on holidays and stuff, where I'd be with my ex or stuff, and I'd just be like making friends with people on holiday and be like, hey, come to a show, man. I'll give you my email, and I just
Yeah,
make it, mate. It's just funny. But it's
yeah.
fun that it
You're
connects
more
people.
emotional. There's something about the altitude that I'll watch like a really bad rom-com and I'll cry or something on a flight.
Yeah,
Shit
yeah. Oh my
happens all
God,
the time.
flights. What is it about flying? It just,
Yeah,
I think it's the unconnectedness, which is, it really, it is, it's like its own source of self-isolation.
yeah.
You're fully there. You can't, obviously now planes do have Wi-Fi and stuff, but generally you can't talk to whoever you need to talk to, or deal with any of your issues that you need to do, anything that's businessy, or it's just like, so you sit there and you go, oh, it's just me again, and that is, I think it is powerful on planes.
It
Something
is,
about it.
and you have like one drink and you feel so inspired. Like I feel like I've figured out the secret of life on some planes, and or like a novel I'm gonna write or a screenplay, and I write it all down. I'm like, yes. And then there's no one to talk to about it, and then you land, you're like, this is shit, whatever I just came up with. Or I've like worked on songs. I'm like, I need to get some lyrics for this song, and I'm on a flight.
Yeah.
It sounds so rad in there, and yeah, it's hilarious. So in a weird way, right now what we're going through is one weird global flight because we're forced to sit in our own situation like this.
Totally, totally. I love that.
And the
It's true.
emotions are higher. Some of the movies I've been watching seem more important. Again, the music that means a lot to me seems really important. It's
Totally.
crazy.
Have you been watching movies and being like, why are you holding hands? Why are you so close to each other?
It is interesting. Yeah, I watched a movie that took place in New York, and it also makes me sad. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope that we don't lose human connection over this in any way. And even I also pray that there's not an overwhelming sort of hangover of paranoia. Like whenever everybody can agree that it's safe to be physical again. And I don't mean to be controversial because I have no idea when that will be, but whenever that hopefully is, I hope that people aren't a little shell shocked and like, wait, should we hug or not? I hope again
Yeah.
when it's
Thinking that.
safe, that people. I can't wait to hug you when I see you, whenever that is in a year. Or, I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
I like
No,
your hair,
no.
by the way. I like the way your hair looks today. It's nice. You pull off
Listen,
cool haircuts. I just got
thank you.
one length. Um,
I had to cut the. I had a half mullet. I had to cut it myself at the back because it was just getting tucked in. And I have no idea what it looks like. Let's have a look. I bet it looks terrible.
no, it looks
So
good.
anyway,
The back looks fun. It looks like
I literally went like that. I was like in the bathtub.
the
So like,
back looks like someone I want to hang out with. If I
but
say
not the
something back,
front.
I'm like, well, what's this guy all about? Let me ask you something like more lighthearted and not to get too journalist on you, but when did you first discover your singing voice where you thought like, okay, I'm gonna be the singer of a band or sing in front of people? When did that happen for you?
I'm gonna get my bottle of wine. I'll be back in 2
Okay,
seconds.
cool. It's a real personal question, so I understand why someone would need to
Yeah, I just.
drink straight out of the bottle for this kind of question.
Okay, all right, where's my straw? No, it was actually a weirdly slow discovery. Where my dad, I grew up listening to him sing, and
Oh, so he was a good singer?
he's awesome. Yeah. There'll be a period where he'll be like, yeah, I taught Conor everything he knows.
Yeah, cool.
Um,
What was his style of singing, or what did you grow up listening to him sing?
Gospel and like rhythm and old school, like proper Etta James, Sam Cooke, Nina Simone, all of the the drill, like
Just the great.
just proper soul singers, and my house was just filled in the car and whatever all the time was just filled with blues runs and just soul, and it's like you can't escape it once it's eked into you
Yeah.
from the age of 2 to 27. It's just part of you. So even with Nothing But Thieves, where it's like there isn't really a soul element. Like if I do some writing by myself, there's always an element of soul or R&B and my own stuff. But with Nothing But Thieves, it always still comes out anyway. It just does. It's like there will be something that feels soulful or a slight run or a slight note dip or just, I just can't escape it. But I think that's part of it. You have to run with what you are,
Yeah.
what's in you. Yeah. But so hearing him since I was a kid, and then I think I was like 9 or 10 in my primary school, and my best mate Mike Crocombe and my other best mate from primary school, Sam Taylor.
Shout out to Mike Crokin.
Yeah. We did a cover of you won't even know who they are. But we were 9 years old and we did this band called Busted.
Uh-huh. Good name.
In school assembly. Yeah, they were cool. When you were 9.
Right.
But it was great. And I was like, oh, I really enjoy this. I always played trumpet and stuff like that. And obviously I'd sung around the house with my dad. But I got to secondary school and I was like, I'm actually going to take it seriously. And that's actually where I met Joe in my band. So he was a couple of years older than me. And he was in a band and they kicked out their lead singer so I could be the lead singer. And I was like in year 7, I was like 13 or something.
Uh-huh.
But I think I did like a Jackson 5 cover or something. And they were like, oh yeah, get him along. He's well, he's good. But yeah, so it just kicked it from there. It was like I said, it was a slow thing. My dad never forced it upon me or anything like that. I did so much growing up. I was a ski racer and I did like play football and rugby and cricket, all sorts of stuff. I was really into my sport and I did drama and then music as well. So it was all holistic. It was everything was at once. So I didn't really fall into music until I truly fell into it, until I was in my secondary school where I thought maybe I should just kind of pick one or like at least hone in on one a bit more. And singing always came most naturally. I remember I had a PE teacher once who was pissed off because I couldn't make a cricket game because I had a gig or something, or I was traveling to a gig with my first band. And he was like, you know what they say about you in the teacher's like classroom? He said like that you're the jack of all trades but the master of none. And I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like I will show you. But yeah, so I think singing just came very most naturally. So I just like pushed that heavily,
Yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope to try to thread the needle of soul instincts into rock and roll without it being lame. And you do a really good job of it being cool and being authentic and seeming honest.
It's so true.
Like it can get. I mean, rock and roll is dangerous if you mess around and throw certain aspects in it. It could go bad fast, and it happens quite often.
Well, this is what I really admire about your writers and your band is that not one song sounds like anything I've ever heard before, and that's
thank you.
That is the beauty of it. It's like, I mean, I know obviously it's an old song for you now, but like even your first hit, obviously it just no one had heard anything like it, and it's just everything you've ever done since has got its own pocket of life, and we as a band really are inspired by that and other bands that do that, because every single song we write is different from the last one. It's because we're bored of it. We don't like bands that just do the same thing every time, or like you find bands nowadays that are almost like cover bands of old bands,
right?
Or even cover bands of the last 5 years, and it's like, so it's like so it's really inspiring for us to like change it up every single song, and then you do that so well, and I'm assuming it's because you get bored of the same songs too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I write any song, so I'm just going with the flow. So a lot of times I've been asked about, obviously, you know, certain songs I've written and like, how did I come up with them or whatever? And I don't know. It's just, it happened obviously. And which kind of brings me, and thank you for all those kind words, man. I really appreciate it.
And also like the live show, I'm blown away by it. I watched you on tour like every single night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to ask you, because I used to be in bands where it was, you know, sort of three musketeer mentality, or four musketeer for that matter, or five. And I'm just wondering if you have any advice on how to navigate the relationship, you know, in a band with multiple members that all have votes, and how to not lose your mind, you know, when you think your idea is good, or maybe someone in the band has a little comment that you disagree with about a lyric or a vocal. Because when all said and done, you know, to take nothing away from other band members, there's a certain kind of weight and pressure being a lead singer. And you know, I don't have a lot of lead singer friends. You're one of two or three that I have, right? And it's definitely a certain kind of thing, and it's a certain kind of raw, terrifying, vulnerable path, right? And so I'm wondering how you know, because you never want to tell your bandmates, like, you don't know what it's like. I have to sing these songs and my voice is imperfect, and you know, how do you navigate that with the guys in the band?
I think that for us it was just time and practice, and like we mentioned earlier about like almost the egoic boundaries being broken down. It's just and acknowledging that you're all humans with emotions and desires and dreams and aspirations in terms of what you want as well as the others.
Mm-hmm.
And then break down those barriers. You also realize you have this kindred thing, this little baby in the middle, which is nothing but these. I think for years and years it was like battling. There's 5 really strong personalities in our band, and Dom, Joe, and myself write the song. So, and I'd say our business personalities are the strongest. So it's like there was definitely years of like push and pull. And I've been in bands with Joe since I was younger, so I always like looked up to him like a big brother. And he looked after me in a lot of years that I was struggling when I was younger and with family stuff. And so I have such a high respect. And Dom has always been like my best mate before the band. So it's having to remember those things come first. Right. That is what has kept us together. It's if we've had bust ups or had to have conversations, it's because you lose track of what's important. And again, it comes back to this, doesn't it, really? But it's so having those conversations, breaking those barriers, and then remembering that you love each other and you look after each other comes first. And I think that's the way we've got through everything, and that's how we navigate it. Yeah, it's just having respect for each other's voices. In like, oh, I've got an idea, then you just kind of sit and listen. You go, that's cool. And then you be like, yeah, great, let's do it. And then they have the same respect for myself, or you know, we have the same respect for each other. It's like we kind of got to that point now when you know something's good, you know it's good, so you just go, yeah, cool, let's do it. You know, but I do think you're probably right. I think when we first started off being like, you know, 18, 19 at the very start, it was, what can I do? This me? Can I do this me? And it was like, whoa, hold up, like this feels ugly. But I think part of the beauty of Nothing But Thieves is that we come at it, the three of us who write, at such different headspaces. And it's weird, like we truly wouldn't be able to write a Nothing But Thieves song without each other. Whereas like if I did something just by myself on my own, it would sound so me, and then it would sound too different from the Thieves. And that is so interesting that we push and pull and almost work it like what you'd call taffy out there.
What do you call
and
it?
Yeah. What do you say?
You said what we call taffy. What do you call taffy?
We don't even have that, do we?
Oh, okay.
But I just saw the example in my head. It's like that until it becomes its own beast. And I love that, actually. I truly love that. Before we get in the room together, we don't know what's going to be created. Obviously, like, we'll have little ideas. You brought in half songs or lyrical ideas or melody ideas or a track, you know. But you know what I mean? That's the beauty of this beast, is we never know what's going to come. And I like that.
Yeah, that's and it's also nice to have a similar musical vocabulary and references. You know, I find that probably mostly with Isaac, my drummer, because we're similar in age. When we're developing an idea for a live part, or we're talking, I haven't played drums on a part of the record, I could say, hey, I'm going for Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, and like that's seems like a bizarre, hilarious reference, but he knows exactly what I mean in that moment. It's like a certain kind of way to hit a cymbal in a sarcastic way or whatever, and then we fall to the ground laughing because like, music is supposed to be fun too, and if you don't try to be slightly sarcastic sometimes and almost make fun of yourself with some of the songs, I think you're taking yourself too seriously.
You said that to me about We're Just in Life when we spoke a few months back. You were like,
oh yeah,
just remember, it's like your job, your life is silly, and you should enjoy how silly it is. No, like, it is actually, yeah.
Yeah, just don't ever, like I think Isaac goes back to Isaac. He's got great wisdom, and he always says, like, dude, when I'm going through the front man pressures of being the architect behind this thing, and it becomes overwhelming. He's like, dude, don't we're not that important. You're not that important. Trust me. Like there are people that matter so much more than us. And I know that obviously, but it's nice to. Sometimes it feels like the world revolves around you, and it doesn't, obviously. And this is.
I think for yourself, but you do everything basically by yourself, and I can't fathom the pressure of that. Like, I can't imagine how difficult it is. Like, I have the other guys to rely on certain things, and they rely on me on certain things, and I rely, so it's very push and pull.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, especially with now the level it's got to with the band, it would be too much. So I can totally understand the pressure you feel, and it's like dealing with label and this and that and the band and friends. It's tricky. So I totally understand, and it's good that you have Isaac to be like, mate, simmer down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we both, he and I have both had bands that failed so miserably, and we've had so many Spinal Tap moments that we just don't like. It's so funny, and he's so humble. They're going to kick us off in 3 minutes, so I wanted to get to one last question and just take the time to thank you. And I love you, dude. It's so good to see you again. And,
so good to see you.
And shout out to Russia, because I see so much Russian in this conversation. And
it's got stuff on mine, so I haven't seen anyone.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Like I've seen it all. It's all been good. All the comments on you and your hair have been good. Some are concerned with your drinking right now, but I let them know it's all good.
I'm fine. I'm not drinking for any bad reason.
I know. I'll tell you this. When you had been to Russia, I had not, and I'm only saying this because I see so many Russian fans on here, and we had a Moscow show at the end of a tour, and I was kind of asking you about it. And you're like, it's mind blowing. The fan energy there is absolutely second to none, and it was the last show for us on a really long, kind of daunting European run for us. And it's, as you know, it's more tiring when you're going to another country on the other side of the world. So we were just like kind of just in a constant state of a dream, like hangover almost, it felt like. So anyways, the last Russian show was just incredible. And I can't wait to go back to Moscow and play other places there. I wanted to ask you how you've dealt with criticism from outsiders, whether it's like that blog or whatever, like criticism that from people that you wanted to be accepted by. This is sort of a bit of an immature question, but
no, it's good.
I'd love to know.
So I reckon that is again, it's all just for me growing up and stuff. And I think when we first started, our band kept growing month by month and show by show and single by single. And we had no press at all, like nothing. And it really bothered me because I grew up reading all of these magazines and stuff online. I was pretty obsessed. I kind of actually weirdly wanted to go into music journalism if this didn't happen. I was going to, you never know. But that's something where I was really interested in, at least. So I was really disappointed and really depressed that didn't really happen. And then, but it wasn't anything I didn't feel personally inflicted by. I feel I've always, because of my love for singing and how hard I've worked at it and the level I've got to, I always have had a quiet confidence about it where I don't really need to be told by anyone, and that's how I feel about the songwriting too with us now. It's like I don't actually care what
Right.
critics think or say. It's like it's great when you get good stuff, of course, and obviously news goes around the camp, and it's like, yeah, this is happening, like awesome. But I also don't care what they think. It's like if we love it, then that's what's most important. And yeah, I have to be a fan of whatever idea I want to come up with, because if you're not going to be, then no one else will be. I don't think, I think that's
Yeah.
really important. But yeah, no, I think I navigate it by not caring what people think. I'm confident with what I've got, and I just stick with that.
I think that was really great advice. Quiet confidence in what you know. At least you put your best best foot forward in. And I guess that they're going to kick us off anyway. So I'll just say bye now. And
Yeah, yeah.
that was awesome, man.
You too. Can you save this so I can put it on my thing as well?
Yeah, I'll.
Sweet.
If there's some way to do it, I have to like sort of like record it because it's a split screen thing. They only I'm allowed to share in my stories for 24 hours, but so I have to like basically film it in some way, and then I can send it to you. It's crazy, but I'll get it to you for sure.
I'll speak to you soon, dude. It's so good to speak to you.
You too, man. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you
All right,
later.
buddy. Take care. Have a good night.
You too.